Amazon FBA. Some people call it a gold mine, some people say it's oversaturated. And in 2024, the truth lies somewhere in between. Is Amazon FBA UK saturated? Is Amazon FBA in the UK worth even doing in 2024? And a few more answers to some burning questions I know that you've got. Potentially you've already heard all the success stories and you're just wondering if you've missed the boat. Well, if you're curious about if that is worth pursuing, then you're in the right place. Let's get into the details right now. Let's take a closer look at the facts. Here we are. I feel like I'm in Art Attack or something. So we're going to be going through a few of the different categories to each of these business models and then rank them in order of how good they are or how bad they are. Like with capital, the more capital you need at the top, the least capital at the bottom. And then I'm going to uncover my favorite stats as well. So these are the 4 ones that people look at really within selling on Amazon. So let's go through these first of all. And hopefully by going through them, you'll figure out which is going to be the best for you personally. Now, let's start with drop shipping. Capital, generally speaking, we don't need much money at all. We just need to set up a kind of Shopify website. Retail arbitrage is going to go in next because you could just buy some things from TK Maxx and then go and sell it. So that's all good. Wholesale then comes second. You need a couple thousand really to get started with that. And then generally speaking, private label, you're going to need the most amount of capital at the top because you're building a brand, you're getting trademarks done, all that sort of stuff. So generally speaking, let's take a screenshot of that. Private label, you're going to have the most amount of money needed. Drop shipping, probably the least amount of money needed. So let's get rid of that. Beginner friendly. So, to be honest, a lot of these are kind of beginner friendly, but people often say that drop shipping's the most beginner friendly. But really, guys, it's not, because you need to know how to do ads and organic marketing. So we're going to put it kind of down here somewhere. Retail arbitrage is definitely the easiest. It's super, super easy. Any old idiot can do it, which is why lots of people do it. I'm actually going to put wholesale here, because it's just a different version of retail arbitrage. Rather than buying from discount shitty stores, you're just going to wholesalers. It's really not that complex. And then drop shipping, setting up is pretty easy, but actually making it successful is, if actually I'm going to put it up there, because I'm going to put private label there. You can get a lot more success from private label as a beginner than you can drop shipping. I promise you, people think that this is easy because it's got low barrier to entry. I'm telling you, to make this successful, to make the same amount of money that you can in these, that's going to be absolutely the hardest. So let's get rid of that. Margins. So at the top, 100% private label is going to give you the best margins, absolutely guaranteed. We then really, drop shipping is very, very tricky, so I'm going to leave that one for the second. We'll come back to it. We're then going to look at, actually retail arbitrage can be quite good because you can find some good deals, so I'm going to put it there. Then I'm going to put wholesale, and at the bottom I will put drop shipping, because what ends up happening is a beginner will start doing drop shipping, they'll have no idea what they're doing, and they'll end up wasting all their money on ads, so you end up having a terrible margin. But private label, because you're the brand owner, because you can really dictate the price with your branding, 100% the margins could be a lot better. I've got a product at the moment with a 56% profit margin, so you're not going to get that in any of these by a long way. Let's get rid of that. Time to profit. So this is an interesting one. Absolutely, then we can stick drop shipping down here. Private label, we're probably going to put further down. Wholesale is going to go there, and retail arbitrage at the top. So you could literally buy something from some discount store, sell it send it into Amazon, sell it very quickly. Wholesale is very, very similar. Drop shipping, you can make money, if you start running ads and you start doing it, because there's no inventory costs. Private label, there's inventory costs, so you're buying normally a lot of stock up front, so therefore it will take longer for you to kind of make that profit back just by default. Passive, this is just the worst possible thing you could ever do if you want a passive lifestyle. If you want to make it successful, you've got to go to shops literally all day. It's the biggest waste of time I've ever seen. Wholesale, no. Drop shipping, because you need to be able to run the ads. Wholesale we're going to put up there, and then private label is definitely the most passive, because once your product is set up and running, it's really just a case of optimizing it, and you can get people to do that for you. Okay. Scalability. So let's go. The most scalable one, definitely private label. Then we're going to probably go drop shipping, just because we're not limited by us kind of having deals done with wholesalers. So then we'll put wholesaling, and retail arbitrage is basically unscalable because you have to go out and do it. With private label, because Amazon are doing everything, like Amazon, are doing the fulfillment normally with wholesale and retail arbitrage, because you're buying so much in stock at one point and then selling it, the ability to scale is just ginormous with private label. That's why literally I have had a conversation with someone recently. They've done over 500 million in private label sales on Amazon. So definitely the most scalable. I've never met anyone to do those sorts of figures in any of these other stuff. And then the most important one, ease to exit. That's where you can cash out and get your money. So at the bottom, it's going to be retail arbitrage. I think is going to be the worst one because you have to physically do it, and you can't. It's an owner operator business. It's just like really unsellable. Wholesale is going to be the next one. That's a little bit different because you have a relationship with a wholesaler, and that can be done over email and stuff like that. So that is more sellable, but that is just awful. Drop shipping, if you're making money, that is, then drop shipping is a easy business to sell. Private label, definitely the easiest because you have an asset, a physical asset, and you've got inventory. It's an actual real business rather than just being a middleman. Like, I want a business and I want to be able to own the intellectual property on that. These people are just middlemen, and I'm not interested in being a recruiter. I've did recruiting for a while. I don't want to do any of that rubbish. So let's now go to my favorite stats. So my favorite stats are underneath this page. One most important stat is Amazon is growing. They did 574 billion in 2013. That's 11% up from the year before. 60% are from third-party sellers. That's a ginormous amount. So if you think about all the people that are selling on Amazon, 60% of them, or the revenue that comes from third-party sellers, that's people like you and me. 80% of those sellers use FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, meaning that you're going to be hands-free. 51% of customers search on Amazon before they actually try and buy a product. So if you're looking to buy a product, nearly half of the population actually search on Amazon. And importantly, brand owners' sales grew 22% in 2023 compared to last year. Obviously, once we get the 2024 numbers, that will, I'm sure, show an increase as well, which is basically saying that Amazon is focusing on brands and people like buying brands. 22% is a ginormous increase. Those are my favorite stats. All those things combined is why I chose to go down the Amazon FBA private labeling route when I first started in 2017. But that was a long time ago. What about 2024? Look, earlier this year, I did an awards event for some of my Seller Pro Academy students, and I was giving out awards for people that have reached financial milestones like their first 10K, 100K, and £1 million selling on Amazon. I gave out awards representing over £10 million worth of sales on Amazon. And if you don't know, that's a lot. And if you check out my last video, you'll see that recently, very recently, I've launched a brand new product in a brand new Amazon store and done $10,000 in sales in its first 40 days with just one review. Last year, I launched a new brand. The year before that, I launched a new brand. So does it work in 2024? That's up to you to decide. So look, if you do it right, then these results aren't too far off. But if you don't, then you're in for a world of pain. Let's look at some of those issues now. I mentioned earlier that you needed a larger startup fund, more capital to start private labeling. You might be thinking, yes, that means that this is bad. It means you've got to put a lot of money into it. But when you look at something like real estate, you have to have a ton more money and the return you get is relatively small. And if you're thinking that way, try thinking about it from a different perspective and instead think, if the barrier to entry is higher, that means a lot of the people that want to start out in business will do all of these other things which aren't going to be competing with me. That means that there's more opportunity for you. And generally within private labeling, the more you have to start, the higher the barrier to entry those products become. So if you've got £10,000, generally speaking, it will give you access to products that will be maybe potentially better opportunities than someone with £5,000. Equally, if you have 50,000, that gives you more opportunity than someone that has 10,000. So in this respect, actually, you want to put as much money into it as possible. The second bad thing is you need to put a lot of time and effort into product research. Where I see most people go wrong is they put just a small amount, the most minimum of effort into the product research and the development stage. This means they use that high sales, low competition nonsense, and they just don't really look in depth into the product opportunity. And those people end up having a really bad time because they look at this like a quick money fix rather than an actual business. To overcome that, don't be like every other beginner. Look for the opportunity within that market, and don't just look at the number of reviews to be the indicator if a product will be successful or not. Third thing is most people forget about various different fees that you're going to have to pay to Amazon. Yes, there's an FBA fee. That's really easy to calculate. Yes, there's a selling fee. Super easy to calculate. But what about storage fees? What about your PPC costs? Or think about those little payments that do add up over time. A lot of people don't even consider storage fees, but this is something that you really need to think about, particularly if you have a bigger product. And the third thing, which is by far the most frustrating, is the lack of seller support with Amazon seller support. If you have a problem with your Amazon account or anything to do with using your Amazon account, you would think that you could go to Amazon and you can go, hey, I need some help with this, and they would point you in the right direction. That's not what happens at all. In fact, they're very, very unhelpful. And I've been doing this for years. I really, really know what I'm talking about. And if there's any sellers out there, you will feel the pain of what I'm feeling right now. And this is where you need a community of Amazon sellers. You need people in your corner that have been there and done that, so that when you have a problem, when you have questions, you don't need to go to Amazon to get help. You can go to community to get help. And that's exactly why I set up the Amazon seller community recently on the School platform. We have over $1 billion worth of Amazon experience inside and over 20 experts in various different subject matters. It's 100% free to join, so I'd recommend definitely leveraging that. Link down in the description. So we've heard the good and the bad. Now let's look at the ugly. The ugly is that it's actually difficult. Look, of course, all businesses are difficult, but there's lots of things with private labeling in particular that are complex. What you shouldn't forget is that you're building a physical inventory business. You're often sourcing products from China, having them shipped over into your country where you're selling them. You're creating the branding, you're doing the marketing, and you're getting the product sold and getting it to customers. That is complicated. There's lots of moving parts to that. At any one of those stages, you can have small mistakes that have large impacts. And unfortunately, I've seen people make mistakes time and time and time again if they don't have the proper education, support, and training. This is why it's so important to have the right process and structure to follow, and to make sure that your expectations aren't too high. You're not going to start selling a product and then the next minute be a millionaire. The second thing is that this requires a significant amount of time. I've taken thousands of people through this process, and I do find that little and often is the best strategy. But if you don't have any time and you're thinking this is the thing that's going to get you out of it, that's not going to be the case. Yes, you can run the business on a few hours per week, but setting it up is going to take a little bit more than that. And the thing you really have to remember is that a lot of the work within private labeling is put up front. You do a lot of the work before you've ever sold a thing. So you need to be comfortable with putting the time in so that you can reap the rewards later on. To negate all of the ugly stuff and to actually succeed, here's what you really need to do. You need to have an understanding of the financials, the fees, and all of the metrics and money stuff. At the end of the day, this is a business. Second is you need to have a structure for research and development to actually build a product that customers want to buy. If you're looking to do a brand in 2024 or into the future, branding, marketing, imagery is everything. If you don't have a process to follow here, you're going to get beaten by the people that do. You need to be able to dedicate the time, not 1 hour on a Saturday. You need to be putting in half an hour to an hour a day to get set up. You need to have patience as well. This isn't a make money fast button. You need to dedicate time before and during to make this a success. And the most important thing, the most critical thing, I'm going to get a bit closer for this one. You need to be focused on building a brand, not just being an Amazon seller. If you can build a brand, that's where you're really going to make the money. You're building an asset which is valuable now and even more valuable in the future. If you've got to this point and you're thinking, cool, great, how do I get started? Listen up. 1, if you need to learn more about Amazon, check out this video over here, which is going to help you get started with product research. 2, if you want to join a community of other Amazon sellers, down in the description, you can join the Amazon seller community 100% free. 3 is once you're accepted into the group, go and check out the resources, the SOPs, the product research guides, everything you need to get started. If you're an existing seller, we have over 20 experts in every different subject matter. There's probably something in your business that you need help with. Go and hit them up and ask them if they can help. Look, I still believe Amazon FBA and private labeling is a fantastic opportunity in 2024, and it seems to be that every year it just gets better and better and better. And although it's getting harder, I still believe there's fantastic opportunity going forward.